This is day 91, the myth of the high performance flow state. We live in an age where peak performance has become the holy grail of human achievement. From elite athletes to professional musicians, high performance is often tied to the elusive flow state. This state of mind where focus is total, time seems to disappear, and work feels effortless is glorified in countless self-help books, articles, and motivational speeches. But what if this magical flow state we keep chasing is less of a reality and more of a myth? There's a highlight reel versus the whole story. When people talk about the state of flow, they often describe moments of brilliance, basketball players who can't miss a shot, jazz musicians improving as if guided by divine inspiration, or writers cranking out pages of their best work in a single setting. These flow experiences feel almost otherworldly, like mystical experiences where everything clicks into place. But the highlight reels, the moments of peak experiences, don't tell the whole story. The reality is that no one, not even high-performance athletes, can sustain the state of optimal performance indefinitely. The human body and mind simply aren't wired for that kind of continuous output. Numerous studies in psychology, including the work by Mihaly, and this is the Hungarian name, Csikszentmihalyi, the University of Chicago psychologist who pioneered the concept of flow, shows that flow is transient by nature. So what does science tell us about flow? Scientific research on flow underscores its transient nature and highlights the delicate balance required to achieve it. While flow is often described as an ideal state of performance, it does not arise randomly. Instead, it depends on a specific interplay of factors. To enter a state of flow, tasks must have clear goals that provide direction, immediate feedback to guide adjustments, and a challenge skill balance that creates the sweet spot where the difficulty of the task matches the individual's abilities. When these conditions align, the mind can fully engage, resulting in the seamless focus and heightened performance associated with flow. However, this alignment is inherently fleeting. Flow cannot be sustained indefinitely because it draws heavily on mental and physical resources. The experience is best understood as a peak within a broader performance cycle, an exceptional moment rather than a constant state. This understanding reminds us that flow, while powerful, is not a magical formula for endless productivity. Instead, it's a reflection of our ability to synchronize effort, skill, and challenge in a way that optimizes human potential, if only for a brief moment. There's a neurobiology behind this concept of flow. Flow triggers such as total concentration and intrinsic motivation activate specific parts of the brain. Research on brain activity during flow states, including work by Stephen Kotler and studies from Johns Hopkins University, shows that dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for self-criticism and doubt, goes quiet. This phenomenon, known as transient hyperfrontality, allows for heightened creativity and focus while that self-doubt thing is turned off. But this mental state isn't sustainable. The nervous system of human beings require rest and recovery after periods of intense focus. Without downtime, we risk burnout, mental fatigue, and even long-term health consequences. The groundbreaking research of Csikszentmihalyi. Any meaningful discussion about the concept of flow would be incomplete without examining the work of this University of Chicago psychologist. His research revolutionized our understanding of human performance, creativity, and life satisfaction. Csikszentmihalyi, often called the father of positive psychology, devoted much of his career to studying what makes life worth living. His exploration of optimal experiences culminated in the discovery of flow, a state of mind characterized by intense focus, complete absorption in the task at hand, and a sense of timelessness. What is flow, according to Csikszentmihalyi? He defined flow as a state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The experience itself is so enjoyable that people will do it even at great cost to themselves, just for the sheer sake of doing it. This flow experience is more than just heightened productivity. It's about aligning one's skills and challenges to create a deeply fulfilling, almost spiritual experience. Through his research, Csikszentmihalyi identified several key elements of flow. First, clear goals. Participants must have well-defined goals to guide their focus and effort. Second, immediate feedback. Real-time responses allow participants to adjust their actions and stay aligned with objectives. Third, a challenge-skill balance. Flow occurs in the sweet spot where the challenge of the activity perfectly matches the skill level of the individual. These necessary conditions help explain why flow is more likely to occur in activities that require high levels of focus, such as playing a musical instrument, engaging in competitive sports, or solving complex problems. So how did Csikszentmihalyi study flow? In his groundbreaking studies, he used a method called the experience sampling method, or ESM. Participants were given pagers, which was a technology at the time, don't ask, and were prompted at random intervals to record their thoughts, feelings, and activities. This method allowed Csikszentmihalyi to gather real-time data on when people felt happiest, most focused, and most engaged. The results of these studies, published in his seminal book Flow, The Psychology of Optimal Experience, published in 1990, revealed that people experience flow most often during activities that required skill and focus, rather than during passive leisure activities like watching TV. This insight challenged traditional notions of relaxation and happiness. This suggested that true fulfillment comes not from idleness, but from engaging in meaningful, challenging tasks. So, flow and life satisfaction? One of Csikszentmihalyi's most important contributions was linking flow to life satisfaction. His research showed that people who frequently experienced flow reported higher levels of happiness and personal fulfillment. This finding had profound implications for both personal growth and professional performance. It suggested that to live a meaningful life, one should seek activities that align with their passions, skills, and values. For instance, he found that professional musicians, chess players, and ballet dancers often describe their best performances as just like flow experiences. These moments of intense focus where creativity were not just fleeting, they contributed to a deeper sense of purpose and achievement. Flow beyond the individual. Csikszentmihalyi also explored the impact of flow on organizations and teams. He found that workplaces that fostered clear goals, provided immediate feedback, and encouraged employees to work at the edge of their skill level were more likely to see high-performance results. This insight has since been applied in various industries, from education to corporate leadership, to create environments that maximize human potential. There are some criticisms and limitations of his research. While his research has been widely celebrated, it's not without its critics. Some researchers argue that the concept of flow is too subjective and difficult to measure consistently across any individual. Others note that experience of flow is often fleeting and requires ideal conditions, making it challenging to replicate reliably in everyday life. Despite these critiques, Csikszentmihalyi's work remains a cornerstone in the field of positive psychology and a powerful tool for understanding human performance. His insights remind us that while flow is an extraordinary state, it's not a magical formula for constant productivity. Instead, it's a reminder of what's possible when we align our passions, skills, and challenges in a meaningful way. So, he did have quite the legacy and impact. Csikszentmihalyi's research has influenced countless fields, from sports psychology to business leadership. Modern researchers, like I mentioned, Stephen Kotler, have expanded on his work exploring neurobiology of flow and its potential applications for high-performance athletes and professionals. Yet at its core, his message is simple. Flow is not about chasing perfection or achieving superhuman results. It's about finding joy and fulfillment in the present moment, whether you're climbing a mountain, composing a symphony, or simply losing track of time while immersed in something that you love. His work reminds us that the state of optimal performance is not an end goal, but a fleeting gift, a glimpse of what we're capable of when we're engaged in the here and now. So there's flow in real life. High-performance athletes like Olympic medal winners, pro tour golfers, and mountain climbers often report moments of flow during their best performances. These peak experiences are born out of deliberate practice and years of honing their craft. Yet even these successful athletes spend the majority of their time outside this state of flow. Consider basketball players at a world championship level. Their ability to enter flow is dependent on years of physical practice, goal setting, and external conditions like the next play mentality. But no player can stay in flow for an entire game. The state of flow comes and goes, often unexpectedly. Another study I've read by Swan et al. In 2012 called Understanding Flow in Elite Sport emphasizes this point. One of the most comprehensive explorations I could find is this research. It was titled A Systematic Review of the Experience, Occurrence, and Controllability of Flow States in Elite Sport. Sounds like a perfect title. This study synthesized emphasizing literature to explore how flow states, those rare and highly coveted moments of total concentration and peak performance, are experienced, influenced, and managed by elite athletes. Swan and his colleagues addressed three main areas in the research. First, the experience of flow in athletes. Athletes described flow as a mental state where they were fully immersed in the present moment, their actions felt automatic, and external distractions just simply faded away. Second, that factors influencing the occurrence of flow, supportive environments, mental preparation, and the challenge-skill balance were found to play crucial roles in sports. Third, the controllability of flow states. The ability to intentionally enter flow varied greatly among athletes. Techniques such as pre-performance rituals and resetting focus help some athletes regain flow after being disrupted. There's a danger of the flow state myth. The myth of a perpetual flow state is not just unrealistic, it's harmful. It creates an illusion that constant high performance is achievable if we just find the right hack method. However, studies reveal that downtime and rest are essential to long-term success. There's a critical role of rest and recovery. The importance of rest is underscored by another study I read by Bernhofer. The title was called Investigating the Concept of Rest for Research and Practice. This research shows that rest encompassing physical, mental, and spiritual recovery is often misunderstood and undervalued. Without rest, the nervous system cannot sustain the focus and effort required for flow or any peak performance. Maslow also had a perspective on flow, performance, and recovery. Maslow, a rather famous behavioral psychologist, his concept of peak experiences aligns closely with what we call flow states. However, Maslow emphasized balance and the fulfillment of foundational needs, such as nutrition, safety, and connection, to sustain any higher achievements. He believed self-actualization required moments of reflection and recovery, not perpetual intensity. So what's my conclusion? There's a new perspective on flow. The myth of the high-performance flow state sells a fantasy, not reality. Sustainable success comes not from chasing flow endlessly, but from embracing rest, setting well-defined goals, and respecting our natural rhythms. Flow is not a permanent destination, it's a fleeting gift. A glimpse of what we're capable of when we're fully engaged in the present moment. By accepting its transience and honoring the need for recovery, we unlock the true potential of our human performance.